Before 2009, God came to me in a dream and showed me that there's going to be a dramatic rise in false prophets. God showed me that teams of people would come out of Africa to stage miracles and healings, and they would do it for money. And this deception would spread globally for their fame and for wealth. I prayed to the Lord, what should I do about this? And I waited 14 years to release this. Since that dream, fraudsters have risen like locusts around the world, and governments have had to intervene because of the numbers, and they've had to close thousands of churches in Africa. Fraudsters have always existed, but never at this scale.
Peter Popoff is a televangelist with a multi-million-dollar ministry. Over the years, Popoff employed tricks like having assistants place people who could already walk into wheelchairs before broadcasts to create the illusion of miraculous healing. He promoted Miracle Spring Water on late-night TV. The ads featured testimonials of people claiming financial gains from using it. His audience was amazed by his ability to reveal their illnesses and home addresses. In 1986, James Randi exposed him for using a hidden earpiece to receive personal details about audience members from his wife, which he falsely presented as divine knowledge for faith healing. Popoff's wife, Elizabeth, used a radio transmitter to relay information from prayer request cards submitted by the audience. Wearing a receiver and earpiece, Popoff shared the information with the crowd.
I suspected that Popoff's revelations were other than divine. The radio scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
John, is it
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece.
John?
Deary Johnson.
She'd gotten her information from prayer cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She wants to get rid of the walker.
You want to get rid of this walker, sister?
She lives at 1627 10th Street.
1627 10th Street? Is that right?
That's right.
She has arthritis all over.
Burning this arthritis right out of your body. Take a few steps just to make the devil mad. Hallelujah. That's it. Just move around a little bit. There she goes.
In one recording, they captured Elizabeth and her team laughing at a man with advanced testicular cancer. The following year, after the recordings were released, he declared bankruptcy. Recently, Popoff made a comeback. Despite offering fewer words of knowledge, he still finds gullible followers, which is surprising. Darren Brown, a well-known British magician and not a Christian, demonstrated how to create fake miracles. He trained an ordinary man named Nathan to act as a charismatic faith healer. Nathan pretended to be a pastor and organized a church service.
The Lord is speaking to me. Owen? Your name is Owen, right?
Nathan has been fed inside information about some of the congregation from contact cards we had them fill out before the show.
Owen, the Lord has a plan for you. He sees you singing in front of thousands. He doesn't want you to worry about your family. Hallelujah. Praise be to Jesus.
They walked around the city looking for people in pain, and Nathan would pray for their healing. Those who received prayer claimed to feel better, which also happened during the fake church service. This shows that people may report feeling healed even when no real miracle has occurred.
It hurts a lot, right? So when you get up, I bet when you get up from a chair or from here, you got to push yourself up with your arms. Whereas when you were younger, you just sprung up, right? Yeah, right. I'm going to put my hands on your leg, okay? And I want you to think about the pain you're in right now, okay? And that's a 10, okay? Dear Lord, this man's plate in his leg is causing so much pain. That plate's so cold. You're warming it up right now, Lord. You're warming it up right now. I can feel the man shaking in your power. I can feel the man shaking in your power, Lord. You get that pain right out. You get that cold right out. You get that. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel it?
What's it like? What does it feel like? What can you feel? It's a tingling feeling in my leg now.
Stand right up. Stand right up. You don't have to push up. You don't see? You didn't have to push up this time, right? Remember we talked? You told me that pain was a 10 before, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's that pain in that left leg right now? It's reduced, hasn't it? That pain, 0. This leg is shorter by an inch. Can you see that difference?
Telling people their problems are caused by having one leg shorter than the other, and then manipulating a shoe to create the illusion that a leg is lengthened.
Stand up. Stand up. Walk.
A favourite trick performed by healers who claim that it's real.
Jesus has healed you, right?
During a New Year's service in 2014, Prophet Brian Carn shared messages he claimed were from the Lord for 2015. However, he had actually copied a psychic reading from a well-known psychic. The psychic made her predictions for 2015 on February 8, 2014, while Karn delivered his prophecies on December 31st, 2014, 11 months later, resulting in identical wording in both predictions.
Now, the first thing that I got is pork contamination around the world. There will be a new strain of pork disease. People will be afraid to buy pork and much less will be consumed. The pork business will take a hit.
But I want to tell you, Lord says, stay away from pork next year. He didn't tell me that not so much because it's not good for you as much as, I mean, you know it really ain't good for you. But more because there's a disease gonna hit the pigs.
Now, the second thing I got was watch George P. Bush rise in politics in 2015. He has the charm and personality of his father Jeb and the intelligence of his grandfather. But as George P. Bush's political star rises, his grandfather George Sr. diminishes. I see George Sr.'s health taking a turn for the worse, and he does cross in 2015.
That George P. Bush was going to rise to power. I believe that's Jeb Bush's son, President Bush Sr. I saw his health take a turn for the worse.
Watch the East Coast get hit a lot with these violent storms, power outages up and down the East Coast, huge fires in California. And my guide said, those of you in Boca Raton, the house has come down this time.
The East Coast is going to have a whole lot of storms. Like the hurricanes are going to be crazy this year. Storms, I mean, so bad that up and down the East Coast, there's going to be a lot of power outages. As I told you, if you got any family in Boca Raton, Florida, just tell them to be very prayerful. California going to have a whole lot of fires this year.
But again, we're in the new age of the feminine, so it actually makes sense. Again, women more masculine. And as the heterosexual male and female roles become muddy and complex, the homosexual community comes forward as the new love story, but they will flourish.
The feminist movement is going to come forward. The homosexual agenda is going to flourish.
Now, I see a health scare for the Pope. He will be fine, though. The Pope is a very special man and will do much good. I feel very positive about him, and he'll be around for a long time. However, the next Pope is not good. I'm getting the phrase dark Pope around him.
There's going to be a health scare on the Pope, but he'll be fine. The Lord told me that this Pope will be around for a minute, but the next Pope we need to really be prayerful of.
Okay, China, Japan, and India are the countries to watch in 2015. Lots of violence and revolt.
3 countries you're going to need to watch this year is China, Japan, and India. There's going to be a whole lot of violence.
Kanye West loses it all. He is mentally ill, and others around him know it, but nobody is saying anything. And it's sort of like Michael Jackson. Everybody saw how sick he was, but did nothing to help or stop him.
Because I had a very bad vision about Kanye West. I saw him lose his mind. I mean, I saw him like lose everything. Remember like how Michael Jackson at the end of his life, you know, start losing, doing little crazy stuff, but the people around him wouldn't say nothing?
Shepherd Bushiri is a prominent Malawian prophet whose ministry spans over 73 countries. One YouTube video shows him apparently walking in the air. When the camera zooms out, you can hear people walking away in the background, which suggests they are probably holding him up. Why wasn't the whole room filmed to show the complete scene? This was clearly a trick. During another performance, Shepherd Bushiri picked someone from the audience, claiming that one of their children needed prayers, but it was clear that this selection was not random. The prophet claimed he would take a miraculous photo of the child's face using an iPad without the child being present. He asked, "Who has an iPad?" And someone in the front quickly pointed one out. But what happened next revealed the truth. If you zoom in and watch the video in slow motion, you can see Bushiri go to the image gallery and click a photo that was already saved on the iPad.
Oh, deeper man of God.
When the image opened fully, the audience cheered as if Bushiri had miraculously captured a photo of the man's child in the spirit. In another trick, he claimed that God's angels were present and that his prayers had called them. Later, when the video was edited, the angels were added in, but the editing was so poorly done that even someone with basic skills could copy it. In 2019, Pastor Alf Lukal claimed to have resurrected a dead man. The video spread quickly online. The miracle was staged to deceive the public. He later admitted the man was already alive when he arrived at the church. If they hadn't been exposed, they would have continued the lie. Many people still follow this pastor. One common trick is paying people to give false miracle testimonies. Many have said they were paid to act, and some complain they never got paid, leading to court cases where pastors have been arrested and jailed. Some ministries employ individuals to hire others for these acts. Several false pastors have used Ms. Bozolascami to stage fake miracles. After breaking her arm in a car accident and losing her husband, she couldn't work. During this tough time, a woman helped her with money for food and medicine and invited her to church. Later, the woman suggested she could earn money by moving her injured arm in a way that would make the congregation think they were seeing a miracle. After just one day of practice, she was taken to a pastor and moved between churches to hide their trick, getting paid each time. In the churches, she claimed her right arm was broken, saying hospitals couldn't help her, and that a Christian friend told her to seek help at the church. The fake pastors made a video of the staged miracle to promote their ministries.
You've got fire in your eyes, nothing hard from you. Hey.
When the truth was discovered, she had to go into hiding, but she was eventually caught and confessed, helping the police locate the pastors and others involved in the scam churches. A Nigerian pastor claimed he won a championship belt in the International Spiritual Wrestling Championship by defeating Satan in a private match in hell. A Zimbabwean pastor claimed he was talking to God on his phone in front of his congregation.
Is this heaven? Is it heaven? I have a woman here. What do you have to say about it? What else, Papa God? What else, Papa God?
The pastor claimed, "I have a direct channel actually. I have his number, and I can call him when the need arises," but why did he not put the call on speakerphone so everyone could hear God? A South African pastor became famous when he told his congregation to drink petrol, saying he had miraculously turned it into pineapple juice.
Did you believe that petrol can deliver blessing?
In 2014, a video showed his church members eating grass and flowers at his command. He also claimed he turned stones into bread. He was nicknamed Snake Pastor when he fed his followers snakes and rats that he claimed had been transformed into chocolate. In another example, a female pastor admitted she used to smuggle drugs with a flying carpet before becoming a Christian. Another minister claimed she was trained by the devil and had lived on earth for thousands of years in different forms. These frauds create wild stories to get attention and make money. In some of these churches, they even whip members to create fear and make the congregation obey. Many tricks are used to fool people. One trick involves getting people to complete prayer cards before the service, and during the service, the preacher pretends to give words of knowledge based on the information from those cards. They sometimes speak to people before the service to gather details, which they then pass on to the evangelist, who claims to have received the information from God. Another common trick is to make it look like a leg or arm has grown. They also speak in counterfeit tongues, attempting to mimic the true gift of speaking in tongues. Many people have admitted to being part of the fraud. A Ugandan pastor said he was the second in command at a famous church from 1988 to 1992. His job was to come up with clever ways to trick desperate people seeking miracles. One trick involved selling holy rice for 50,000 Ugandan shillings per kilogram. Prophet Uebert Angel, a well-known preacher, was caught on camera in an Al Jazeera documentary called Gold Mafia, showing his involvement in gold smuggling.
Undercover reporters posing as Chinese criminals meet one of Zimbabwe's most senior diplomats. Uebert Angel is also an evangelical preacher. Angel was personally appointed by President Emerson Mnangagwa to bring investment into Zimbabwe.
You want a gold? Gold, we can do it right now. We can make the call right now and it's done.
$5 million can be cleaned every week.
We get gold worth $5 million every week.
The ambassador is not bothered that the cash is being laundered.
It's money that cannot be declared in the country of origin.
We've already discussed it. That we don't want to talk about.
He explains a plan to smuggle the dirty cash into Zimbabwe using his diplomatic status.
Right now I can put a bag like this with 1.2 billion and put a red tape written diplomat. That's it. It will land in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe can't touch it too. Until I get to my house. Hey, you can understand.
In another video, Uebert Angel is sitting with Shepherd Bushiri and tells his followers that if they stab his critics with knives, he will get them out of jail. In a BBC documentary on YouTube, ex-followers who work closely with the famous Nigerian preacher TB Joshua expose him as a fraud. Even though these people have been exposed, some continue to follow them. It's easy to start a church or ministry and call yourself a pastor or prophet. People do this because it can be a good way to make money. These individuals can seem very genuine, but the Bible warns us about this clearly. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15 and 20 read, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them." You can detect false prophets by their fruits. Beware of those who always talk about giving money. Beware of those who regularly share miracle stories to encourage donations. Beware of those promising blessings and miracles in exchange for donations. God's gifts are free, you don't need to pay for them. Beware of those who associate with known false prophets. Beware of those who threaten divine punishment against those who criticize them. Beware of those who only predict good things to make people feel special. Beware of those who make psychic-like predictions and claim to know lots of secret things about people. Beware of those who boast about having many followers. Beware of those who live in luxury with fancy things. God blesses us, but he does it righteously. Beware of those who like to be called special titles like Papa or Daddy. Be cautious of those who have long talks with people possessed by demons. Evil spirits are liars, and it's unwise to engage with them. Be careful of those who believe that when people fall, it shows God's power. Gestures like waving a hand or a jacket to make people fall are just tricks using suggestion and emotional manipulation. 2 Peter 2 and chapter 3, in their greed, these teachers will exploit you with fabricated stories. Titus chapter 1, verse 11 reads, "They must be silenced because they are turning whole families away from the truth by their false teaching, and they do it only for money." 2 Corinthians 11 chapter 14 and 15, "For Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works."